Hello, this is Randy Kirk, and you've arrived at the very first episode of Small Business Daily. We're going to be talking about every aspect of small business. And as your host, I have spent just about half a decade starting and running successful small businesses. Along the course of those many years, I've also written several books about small business, and from time to time, I might even mention those. So we're going to start out talking about selling, because I've mentioned to several people that if I should have a tombstone or if I have some kind of memorial, that there's something out there that's going to be inscribed that specifically talks about my life. The words I'd like to be on there would be, nothing happens until something is sold. You know, you can have an amazing storefront if you're in retail or in some kind of service business that requires a brick and mortar store. You can have an incredible interior design. You can have the best products in the world. You can have incredible designs, laying out those products, laying out those services, making everything look like you're just the best that there possibly is. With all of that done, let me mention, you could have great accounting. You could have plenty of cash in the bank to meet those slow months. But with all of that in place, with all those things going for you, somebody has to sell. Now, there are some exceptions to that. Today, we've got internet activity such as Amazon. I have a small Amazon business where I sell products on Amazon. And I don't have to do any one-on-one selling on Amazon. But I do have to do a lot of marketing on Amazon. And if you don't know how to sell, you're probably also going to have some difficulty with the marketing side as well. So what we're going to be talking about here, though, is kind of what's necessary. If you're in small business and your clients are not just running to you to buy what you have to offer, you may have to reach out to them. Or even if they're picking the phone and calling you, you're going to have to be on the phone, or somebody in your business is going to have to be on the phone who knows how to sell. The interesting aspect of this is that I find that many, maybe even most of the clients that I've had over the last 13 or 14 years that I've been doing consulting, and the friends that I've had over the last 40 or 50 years in small businesses where I've been dealing with them as sellers, as suppliers, or as clients, where I've seen them and watched them as they attempt to sell others. I find that most owners don't really want to sell. They don't know how to sell. They haven't taken any classes in selling. They haven't come to the place where selling is what they would call a skill set. If anybody asks them, are you a good salesman? They probably say, nope, I'm not a good salesman. I don't even like to sell. This has happened so frequently and over so many years that I started writing books about it years and years ago. And now there's quite a number of books on Amazon that have my name on them. But what we're going to start out today, the very first meeting of Small Business Today, we're going to start talking about selling. We're going to talk about what does it take to become a great salesman? Why does the owner need to be a good salesman? What is it about selling that's going to separate the also-rans from the very successful? And then what are the specifics that a person needs to become a great salesperson? But let me start from the beginning. Let me start from the concept of what it is to be a salesperson. Most of the people that I talk to that don't like salespeople or don't want to be a salesperson or feel that there's something negative about being a salesperson, they come to that point of view as a result of being sold by somebody who is just in it for a commission. You see, professional salespeople are not in it for the commission. Professional salespeople are in it because they believe that if they listen carefully to the client or the prospect, and they pay attention to what the prospect is saying, they'll be able to turn around and provide that prospect with a solution that's going to improve their life, that's going to improve their business, that's going to help them to become more successful. This is the mindset of a professional salesperson. A clerk, or someone who's not a professional, looks at it as I need to sell them the specific features and benefits of this product that's in front of me, whether or not they need it, whether or not they care, whether or not maybe they're even in the wrong department. I'm still going to try to jam this down their throat. I'm going to use my closing techniques to make sure that this happens. Well, closing's important, and we'll talk about closing probably later this week or next week. But the reality is that mindset is just completely wrong. So what we want to talk about first is that a great salesperson, somebody who really loves to sell, is somebody who likes the person they're attempting to sell. They care about that person. They're genuinely interested in providing them with either products or services that are going to change their life. They're going to make things better for them. If that sounds like a good thing to you, most owners that I know, that's kind of a main reason for them being in business. They have a skill set, or they have a knowledge, or they have an education, or they have a certificate that puts them in a position to offer legal services or accounting services or bicycles or locks or retail clothing or even food in a restaurant. So they have the skill sets and they have the knowledge and they have the background to be able to provide somebody with something that's going to be beneficial to them. And in fact, they want to. It's a desire of theirs to provide their good knowledge and skills to other people for that purpose. But the disconnect comes when you start saying, but you need to sell your services. You need to provide a sales presentation or pitch. Now the brain turns off. The individual gets nervous and upset and unhappy that they're going to be put in a position of having to sell. This first meeting that we're going to have here together is really going to be talking about how do we make that switch in our thinking so that we understand that sales presentation and your actual goal go hand in hand and are going to make you more successful at what that goal is. Right now, what I want you to do, though, is if you think that this content matters to you, if you've liked what you've heard, would you hit the like button? It's going to help me with my algorithm. Something about YouTube, they want a lot of likes. And then the other thing is, if you think this content will be valuable to you ongoing, then you might want to hit the subscribe button. So let's start again, and let's talk about this in more specific details. You're going to find out over time that I'm a huge Elon Musk fan. In fact, I've recently written a book called The Elon Musk Method that talks about Elon and what makes him so successful and what aspects of his success can be used by you to become more successful in your small business. You can believe it that Elon Musk loves to sell. Okay. Elon, he's the richest man in the world now. He didn't get there just because he's an engineering genius. He got there because he is on fire about the products and services that he offers. He believes in those Tesla automobiles. He believes in those rockets that are taking satellites up into space now. He believes in that Neuralink that's going to be implanted in your brain someday. He believes in these things, and he'll get on the video, he'll get on the television, he'll get on an interview, he will get in front of you one-on-one if you're an important potential prospect, and he will sell you on what he is that he's doing. He wants to enlist you. He wants to get you on the team. He wants you to become not just a client, not just a customer. He wants you to become a proselytizer. He wants you to go out and sell for him. Do you know that Tesla has yet to spend their first dollar on commercial advertising? They don't spend any money on advertising. How is it that they can become this massive auto sales company without any advertising? Because each owner of a Tesla, of which I am one, each owner of a Tesla is out there telling their friends about their Tesla. Word of mouth. The word of mouth is incredible on Teslas. Why is the word of mouth so incredible? Well, first of all, Elon's a good salesman. But second of all, he sells a great product and he believes in the product. He's passionate about his belief in electric vehicles, but in particular in the electric vehicles that he's been manufacturing and offering to you. If you can get that combination of things going, your business will just go crazy. But the first step is You've got to get some people to follow you. You've got to get some people that believe in your product and or services. If you can get folks to get on board and say, oh yeah, Joe's restaurant over there sells the greatest pizza ever. And then they tell their friends, that'll be great. But at some point, you need to sell. By the way, I spent some time in the restaurant business. I didn't own one, but I've worked with restaurant owners, and I've also was a waiter, one of my favorite jobs in the world. And the salesman is the waiter, but often the salesman is also the owner. The owner comes into the restaurant and starts chatting up the customers. Eventually he becomes friends with a few. Then they come in, I know the owner, right? Maybe there's a restaurant where you know the owner. Okay, how did that happen? Well, the owner came out at some point and asked you how your meal was. And then he started chatting you up about why the meal is the way it is. What about his cooks? What about his chef? What about his recipes? Where did they come from? He starts chatting you up because he wants you to feel very comfortable and confident about what it is that he's selling, in this case, food. That's all we're really talking about. We're talking about, if you're a lawyer, you want to talk about to your prospect what it is about your law firm that makes you different. Is it your price? Maybe you're a little less expensive than the next guy, or better yet, is it your quality? Do you win your cases? Do you commonly not even have to go to court? You're proud of the fact that you settle for big numbers without even having to go to court because the opposition's afraid of you. If you're in retail, what is it about your store, about your layout, about your customer service that makes people want to come back? You know, Walmart used to have the greeters. You could have the same product as Target, and all you have is that greeter standing at the front, which makes you feel good when you walk in, and maybe you're going to go back there because of that greeter. So what is your unique selling proposition? What is it that differentiates you from other folks? But if you don't tell anybody about those things, it doesn't do any good to have them, okay? So that's what selling's all about. Now, you say, oh, I know that, Randy. I know that you have to talk about what's good or what's not good. But then, how do you get the prospect in front of you? I've had a number of our mastermind people. We've been running mastermind groups for about 3 years. We've had a number of our mastermind people that have been either startups or even in business for many, many years. And they don't make any cold calls at all. They never knock on a door. They never pick up the phone and call. And in fact, even when they have a warm lead, they're nervous about picking up the call and calling and talking to that warm lead about their products and services. And again, what I want to say is it's not because they're not very, very good at talking about their products. It's not because their products and services aren't high quality. It's not because their prices aren't in line with the market at this time. It's not because they don't understand their products and services. It's because they have a mindset. Their mindset is wrong. Their mindset is incorrect. Their mindset is, I don't want to pressure people to buy my products. I'm not talking about pressuring anybody. The first step, we'll talk about all these steps later in the week, but the first step is to get your mind right. And your mind right means I'm going to listen carefully to my customer. I'm going to understand their needs. I'm going to question them until I'm 100% positive that I understand their need fully. Now, what happens during that time? What happens when you're listening carefully to the prospect's needs? Well, they're going to believe you care, because most people don't ever listen to what their needs are. They are looking for somebody who cares enough to pay attention and listen. So just by the fact that you're listening, paying attention, asking intelligent questions about their decision-making process, about the products that they're looking for or the services they need, just by that part of the process, you're going to get them on your side, that you're somebody they want to do business with because you're paying attention and listening. So as you listen and as you ask intelligent questions, you are now a salesperson, a professional salesperson. It may turn out that your products and services don't fit their need. This has happened to me thousands of times in business. No matter how good my products and services were, they were too expensive for this particular client. The client really couldn't afford them at this time. Maybe the quality was not what they needed. They needed something of a higher quality that I didn't offer. Guess what? You tell them straight up, nope, I'm not the right guy for you. But here's what I recommend you do. Here's the option that you have to go and get what it is that you actually need. And when you get what you actually need, you're going to be thrilled with me because I was the one that made the recommendation. You may recommend me to somebody else and say, oh, I think you're just right for Randy. Go over and see him for this. That you may eventually come back and say, now I need the upgrade, or now I need something that is less expensive or more expensive or a different color, different size, whatever. Now I'm coming back to you because I have built this trust in you that you paid attention, you listened, and you actually helped me to get to my need. So this is where it all starts. The change in the mindset from what you perceive right now maybe as the selling process of convincing somebody, of browbeating somebody, of trying to ram it down their throat. You know, that's not what selling is. That's not what quality professional selling is. It's filling the need. Now, it does still require a close. We'll talk about that later. You still need to close. And we'll talk about how to do that gently and in a way that I don't think you'll find troubling. But we'll also talk about the other aspects of selling, the other things that separate the folks that don't quite make it as salespeople from those who become quite successful as professional salespeople. I'm going to leave you with one thought with regard to selling, with regard to the foundation, the beginning points of selling. And that is the wealthiest income people in the world are generally great salespeople. And they're not always just selling products and services. They might be selling their company to employees. They might be selling their company to suppliers. You can't get great suppliers, the best suppliers, unless you sell that supplier that you're going to meet their need as a customer, as a reseller. You're not going to get the best employees. Elon Musk gets the top engineers in the world from the top engineering schools in the world. The number one place they want to go to work is Tesla. The number two place they want to go to work is SpaceX. How does he do that? Because he has listened to the engineers' needs. What do they want? They want to do something that's going to change the world. They want to do something that's exciting. They want to be in an environment where they're going to be able to express their engineering ideas and believe that they're going to be listened to. And they've heard about Musk, they've heard about Tesla, they've heard about SpaceX. Their needs are going to be met there. So it's not always about selling somebody the end product. It could be selling your company to suppliers, selling your company to vendors, selling your company to banks, selling your company to venture capitalists, selling your company to the stock market. There's a whole lot of other selling that takes place. And all of it always comes back to meeting the need. Now, I'm going to end today because we're going to be talking a lot about books. And the thing I want to do today is I want to talk to you about the most famous, the most read, the most recognized basic selling book that's ever been produced. And it's Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. I mentioned Think and Grow Rich to so many of my friends, and they're like, yeah, I read it. It's great. I love Think and Grow Rich. I haven't read it recently. I think the last time was about 4 or 5 years ago, and it was still a little, long in the tooth. Like a lot of mentions of things that were okay 100 years ago that maybe aren't so okay today. I talked to somebody the other day that says maybe they've updated it a bit. I'm not sure. I'm just going to warn you, there's going to be some weird stuff in there, maybe. But Think and Grow Rich is a great motivational book. It's a great basic fundamental book about how to sell. It will help you to recognize just what I've been talking about today in terms of what the professional salesperson does and the way they think. And so if you can change your mindset, that's going to be the key. Today, what I'd love you to do, make some comments. Let me know whether you liked this idea, whether you liked where we're going with the selling thing. Mention in the comments, maybe you already consider, in fact, rate yourself 1 to 5. Are you a already solid salesperson who has a high closing ratio, who understands what it takes to sell folks by finding their need and you know how to close? Maybe you're a 5. Write it down. Say, yes, I'm already a 5 in selling. And then would you mention right next to that, if you're already a 5 in selling, do you find that one of the most important things you do as a salesperson is keep going back in and reading more and more sales books and more sales seminars online, more and more YouTube videos on selling, more and more wherever you can to learn more and more about how to be a great salesperson? So are you a number 5? And do you go out looking for more and more information on how to sell? Maybe you're a number 4. Maybe you're like, yeah, I'm pretty good, but I could be better. And no, I haven't been, maybe write it down. I haven't been looking. I haven't been improving my skill sets by reading or by watching videos. We're going to start giving you some great resources in terms of what you can read, what you can watch in order to improve your skill set, get you from a 4 to a 5. Maybe you're a 3. Yeah, Randy, I'm just an average salesperson. I do okay. I know I'm doing okay. Do you know what an average salesperson is? It's a person who's letting leads get away. Leads cost money. I want you to remember this. Every lead, warm lead, cold lead that you use on Google, you get a lead on Facebook. However those leads are coming in, you're spending either time or money to get that lead. If you're an average salesperson and you're only let's say closing 50%, and a great salesperson would close 80%, that means that 30% of those leads that you're paying for are going away because you're not doing your job well. That's true of your salespeople as well. If you've got a 20%er on the floor, he's only closing 20%, and you've got an 80%er on the floor, and you don't fire the 20%er or retrain them or do something to get them up to 50, 60, 70, 80%, you're just throwing away money. You're paying for leads, the leads are coming in, and you're just throwing them away. Okay, so you're number 3. If you're a 3, put it down. Tell us anyway. Let's be transparent here. Nobody's going to tell your employees that you said you were number 3. Just let me know. Are you a number 3 salesperson? And do you want to be at least a 4 or a 5? Would you love to become better at selling? Or are you perfectly happy? Go ahead, write it down. I'm a 3 and I'm good. You know what? I don't care if I ever get any better. Maybe you're a 2. You're sitting here going, Randy, I'm not that great. I'm not a very good salesperson. I know that I should never be on the sales floor. Let me ask you, the first question is, if that's true and you're the owner, are you doing anything about it? Shouldn't you be doing something about that? What are you willing to do? Are you willing to do some hard things to change your attitude, to change your mind, to learn, to be coached, maybe even to be held accountable by somebody? Well, this is the place we're going to do that. And if you're a number 2 and you're okay with it, say that. If you're a number 2 and you want to do better, put it in the comments. Randy, I'm only a 2 when it comes to selling, but I would love to be a 5. And that would be amazing. I just can't wait to see if we can make that happen. And then finally, maybe you're a number 1. Maybe you are worse than just you shouldn't be on the sales floor. You're afraid. You're nervous. You don't like to be in front of clients or customers. You don't know the first thing about selling, and you hate every aspect of it. You can't even imagine that you could ever even get to a number 2. Write it down. Tell me. Let me know. Let me know in the comments. And then let me know if you think it would matter. Would it matter to your business if you could go from a number 1 to even a number 2 or 3? Would it change your business? Would it change how much money you took home to your family? Would it change how many vacations and where you could take those vacations every year? Would it change the quality of the car you drove? Would it allow you to do things that you can't do now? Would it improve the money that you're saving for your kids to go to college if you could just go from a 1 to a 2 or a 3? Let me know. Do you think it would change anything? Maybe it wouldn't. Now, or maybe you're a number 1. Do you have salespeople working for you? Well, it's really hard to be a great sales manager and teacher and coach of salespeople if you yourself know nothing about selling. So is that a problem for you? Do you have salespeople working for you but you can't even coach them or teach them. Is that a problem? Go write it down in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Okay, we're going to wrap it up now. Get yourself a copy of Think and Grow Rich. There's a link right down in the comments below, or in the description below. You can find multiple links down there. You can find links to my books. You can find links to Think and Grow Rich. And don't forget, if you haven't already done it, please like the video. Please like it. It's going to help me a lot. And then, become a subscriber. That really is a big help. And then the final thing would be push the notifications. If you'd like to be notified every time a new video, now these new videos are going to go up pretty much every day. So there's going to be a new video every single day. And if you would like to be notified, just so you're reminded to come back and hear, tomorrow we're going to be talking about enthusiasm. It is the most important part of being a great salesperson. It's passion. It's, being enthusiastic all the time, wearing a smile on your face when you're pitching, being of the right mindset day in and day out, being prepared to pitch at any time. When I say pitch, again, I don't want to use the term that'll scare you. Present, just making sure that you are loving and caring about your clients to the point where they're going to buy from you if you have the right product at the right price. So that's all we're going to do today. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about enthusiasm. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow.